Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Science into Another World News. I hope everyone had a good Christmas. I did. I had to work, but I still had a good Christmas, even though I had to work. And I got some good gifts, so yeah. So anyway, on Christmas Eve, there was some breaking news that came out. Very interesting news. I actually just found out about it today through Richard Dolan, because I'm part of Richard Dolan Members website. And if you guys have not checked out his website, I suggest you do so. He has an amazing website, and I highly suggest you guys go over there. He does have free content if you don't want to sign up to be part of his membership, but I do highly suggest you check out his website. So he found out today. Well, he posted on his chat today, or his website today, called the Fireside Chat, which he normally does it on Sunday, but he did it on today because of the Christmas holidays, which is fine. But he found this information out from Jay over at Project Unity on YouTube, and I highly suggest you check out his channel too, because he does some really great work, and he has some amazing guests on his show. So on Christmas Eve, Christopher Mellon posted on his website at christophermellon.net. And for those of you who don't know who Christopher Mellon is, he is the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense of Intelligence for the Clinton and Bush administration. And he's also was behind help getting those videos released that came out in 2017 of the Tic Tac, the Go Fest, and the Gimbal. Working along with Lou Elizondo. So he's been pushing for disclosure from the government for information to come out. So yeah. But anyway, he posted some very interesting news on his website. I'm not going to read all of it to you. I will put a link in the description below. That way you guys can go read it yourself if you haven't already heard about this news. So 3 days ago, unprecedented UAP legislation. Unbeknownst to most Americans, President Biden just signed into law far-reaching legislation that could confirm the existence of alien presence on Earth. The relevant provisions incorporated into legislation needed to provide funding for the Department of Defense, DoD, and the intelligence community, IC, enjoys strong bipartisan support in both the House and Senate. This is arguably the biggest story mainstream news organizations have ever failed to cover, among other things. This new legislation. Then he goes into lists a couple of things. One, provides greatly enhanced authorities and resources for the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, which now reports directly to the leaders of the Defense Department and the intelligence community. The organization's unusual name is intended to clarify its purview extends to clarify that its purview extends to anomalous objects regardless of their location, i.e. land, air, undersea, or space. Then two, mandates a review of all the intelligence documents involving UAP from 1945 to the president. And I think he started in 1945 because that's when the Trinity crash was supposed to happen. And if you guys don't know about that, that happened 2 years before Roswell. And Jacques Vallée, along with Paula Harris, actually wrote a book about the Trinity crash. It was witnessed by two kids, Remy and Jose. It's a really, really fascinating read. I suggest you guys, if you haven't read it, get the book, read it. Let me see. And then, where did I leave off at? Okay. Requires DoD, DHS, and the IC to identify any non-disclosure agreements related to UAP and provide those to the new AARO office. Directs the new AAR office to develop a UAP science plan to assess the sometimes mysterious and mind-bending capabilities being reported, as well as a collection plan to leverage America's vast technical intelligence apparatus to determine where these objects are coming from and their capabilities and intent. This aggressive UAP investigation using America's unparalleled intelligence capabilities is what I hope to accomplish when I brought the famous DoD UAP videos, Gimbal and Fleur, and Lou Elizondo to the NYT, New York Times, and the Oversight Committees on Capitol Hill in December in 2017. Recall that Mr. Elizondo had just resigned his position on the staff of the Secretary of Defense in protest over DoD inaction in the face of unenumerable violations of restricted DoD airspace by UAP. 5. Actually, this is the last one. 5. Provides a secure source for anyone who has signed an official U.S. document secrecy agreed related to. Oh, let me reread that again. Provides a secure process for anyone who has signed an official U.S. government secrecy agreement related to UAP to come forward and reveal that information to AARO and to Congress, regardless of the level of classification, without fear of retribution or prosecution. This provision is intended to determine the veracity of long-standing allegations indicating that the U.S. government has recovered extraterrestrial technology and perhaps even extraterrestrial bodies, which they have. I have no doubt they have. The alleged UAP crash in 1947 near Roswell, New Mexico offers the most famous, but there are many others. For example, in his new book, Trinity, the Best Kept Secret, the renowned writer, science, and venture capitalist Dr. Jacques Vallée surfaces a new case of alleged ET spacecraft recovery operations. Okay, so there's other information here, but I wanted to get that out. There's one part in here that everybody's been talking about, and it's interesting because I've talked about this on my website. Richard Dolan talked about this, and I actually found out this through Richard Dolan. Then Jay over at Project Unity talked about this. He actually had somebody on his show he interviewed, which was Oak Shannon, who was mentioned in the Wilson Davis notes. And for those of you who don't know what the Wilson Davis notes are, these are some notes that were taken by Dr. Eric Davis back in, I want to say, when did he take these notes? I know the notes started to surface a couple of years ago, but I think he interviewed Dr. Eric Davis back in the 2000s. No, I think he interviewed Admiral Thomas Davis back in the 2000s about his search for black budget projects relating to extraterrestrial recovered crafts and stuff. So anyway, it's about 9-page documents. So in his statement that Christopher Mellon released on Christmas Eve, and I'm going to read a little bit for you. Even before his whistleblower legislation was signed, this allowed credible individuals were providing Congress information alleging that the U.S. government has recovered extraterrestrial technology. This process began in 2019 when I brought astrophysicist Dr. Eric Davis to Capitol Hill to meet with staff from the Senate Intelligence and Armed Services Committee. Dr. Eric Davis, author of the famous Wilson Davis memo that people kept saying a lot of people were skeptical about those documents. They were skeptical that Eric Davis actually interviewed Admiral Thomas Wilson, because anytime he was asked about the document, he kept saying no comment. He never denied him, but he said no comment. And Admiral Thomas Wilson never commented at all. I remember Richard Dolan had talked about how he tried to reach out to Admiral Thomas Wilson a couple of years ago. He called him and said he wanted to interview him about something else, but when he got him on the phone, he actually asked him about these documents. Admiral Thomas Wilson was just not happy. He just hung up in his face. And he clearly states in the documents that he would deny the whole thing if ever asked about them. But I do wonder, with all this information coming out, will Admiral Thomas Wilson come out and talk about these documents? I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, this is major that Dr. Eric Davis did confirm that he wrote these notes from the interview that he did with Admiral Thomas Wilson. So let me read some more. Let me start. Dr. Davis, author of the famous Wilson Davis notes, provides specific information lending credence to sensational reports that an official U.S. government program is actively seeking to exploit recovered technology that was fashioned by some other species, perhaps advanced AI machines. Much of the information Dr. Davis provides remains highly classified, but the good news is that these sensational claims, which have the potential to transform our understanding of the universe and man's place within it, are now being taken seriously and properly investigated. I brought others besides Dr. Eric Davis and Louis Elizondo to the Hill and AARO office I am encouraging anyone else who may be able to help set the record straight to step forward as well. So yeah, yes. Eric Davis confirmed that he took those notes, and those notes were actually found in the late Dr. Edgar Mitchell estate after he passed away. A friend of the family, I guess, was at the house going through some things. He came across the documents. He asked the family, could he have the documents, and they gave it to him. And then we're not sure who actually released the documents out into the public, but they ended up circulating. And I remember I believe it was during COVID, and Richard Dolan was doing one of his shows, and he were talking about these documents, and he had knew about them. Somebody had showed him a page of one of these documents a couple of years ago, so he already had knew about them. These documents ended up being released on, I think, Reddit, and someone has saw them, and they were hoping more news was going to come out, but it was still, the documents were just still sitting there, and nobody was talking about them. So I think Richard Dolan started talking about them, and then Grant Cameron already knew about them too, and then it just went on from there. The shit just hit the fan, and the documents started to come out, and people started talking about them, and so on. And now you have the Wilson Davis notes. So I'm going to read a page from the Wilson Davis notes. And this is my favorite page. This is page 13. They had program manager talking, a craft and intake. And this is the program manager talking, a craft and intact craft they believe could fly space, air, water dimensions. Was it from overseas or not? Said no, could not be possible. This is Admiral Thomas Wilson talking to the project manager of this Black Ops program that's I guess reverse engineering, studying these alien crafts, whatever. Program manager said they didn't know where it was from. They had some idea on this. It was technology that was not of Earth, not of this Earth, not made by man, not by human hands. We're trying to understand and exploit technology. Their program was going on for years and years with very slow progress, agonizingly slow with little or no success, painful lack of collaboration to get help from outside community of experts and facilities to assist. Effort must remain isolated and use own facilities and clear personnel. Tough environment to work, about 400 to 800 bigot list counts. Workers varying in number with funding or personal change. And bigot list does not mean what you think it means. Let's see. And then I'm not going to read the rest of it to you. Like I said, you guys can go out there and pull up these documents yourself. They are out there. But yeah, that's the news that hit the fan. That's what came out on Christmas Eve. I highly suggest that you guys go to Christopher Mellon's website and read the statement. Sorry about that. That came out. I don't know. We'll see what happens with this. If anything comes out from the secret keepers, I don't know. Like I say, these people who have been maintaining this secret since, I guess you could say the Trinity crashed in 1945. Everybody says the Fort Roswell crashed, but now we know about the Trinity crash, so I guess it would have started with there. But these people have been maintaining this cover up for over 70-some years. I don't know. They're not going to let this secret come out as easily as... Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for Christopher Mellon and Lou Elizondo and everybody who's pushing for the disclosure to come out and for the government to be more open and more honest and to find out who's been maintaining this cover up and to push for disclosure for them to let us know there is an alien presence here, which I already believe there are alien presence here. I mean, I've never been abducted. I've never seen anything, but I've done my research. I've read my books. I've gone to conferences. I've watched documentaries. It's something here. It's here. They're here. What they're doing here, I don't know. They go in and out the ocean. They possibly have bases under mountains. They're here. We know they're abducting people. So they are here. Why they remain hidden, I don't know. That's the other big question. Why are they remaining hidden? I mean, who knows? All I can do is speculate, but they are here. Whether you like it or not, they are here. So, anyway, that's what I wanted to share. So, we'll see if anything comes from this very interesting, fascinating news that came out. And good luck to Christopher Mellon, and good job for Christopher Mellon. It's good for him to have, for somebody. I mean, obviously, he's gotten this far because he knows people in high places because of his position. So, I don't know. And Admiral Thomas Wilson, if you're out there listening, if you would like to talk to me, I'm open. If you don't want to talk to me, contact Richard Dolan, contact Linda Moon-Howe, contact Jail Project Unity. They're all wonderful people, and they do some amazing work, and they've been researching this UFO abduction phenomenon for like 20-some. Well, Richard Dolan and Linda Moon-Howe has been researching this for like 20-some years. Jay is a baby, but he does some great work to be only in his 20s and starting this YouTube channel a couple of years ago. So I don't know. I say check all of them out. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got for now. I hope you guys have a happy new year. Party on into the new year, and we shall see what the new year brings. Bye for now.